Welcome to Let's Talk Cars Radio, your automotive specialist. Be a part of the program today by calling 757-222-3705. That's 757-222-3705. Email your questions and comments to Dave at letstalkcarsradio.com. Now, here is the host of Let's Talk Cars Radio, Dave Palach.
Hello, America. You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio on WKQA, Freedom 1110. I am your host, Dave Palach, hanging out with my buddy Rockin' Larry Cobb. And, of course, Cameron's doing all our technical work for us again this week. So, it's been a crazy week. How did everybody survive with all the ice and snow?
Well, it was nice to see Wednesday come.
Yeah.
Wednesday, not necessarily Wednesday night, but
yeah.
And of course, yesterday totally got rid of just about everything.
Yeah, I think all the rain pretty much washed it away. If you guys are not in our area and you're listening to all the places that tune into us, give you a little update here where we broadcast out of Hampton Roads area. We got blasted with a little winter storm, so our listeners in California and stuff probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, we were blasted with snow. We got, you know what? It's kind of crazy. So I got a listener. Where was the one listener from that sent us from like another new country? It was crazy. So they're from Russia. They were actually in Russia is where they were at. Someplace in Russia. And they sent us hey, listening in Russia. So that was kind of cool this week.
Well, they're used to the cold.
Yeah. They know all about the snow. So it's funny. There was a lot of debates this week that were going on over and over again, especially right in the town center area and stuff about the buses and the abundance of snow and the ice and the kids not going back to school because of the buses and stuff. So I thought I would touch on it just a little bit. I find it interesting. See, living up in the north for as much as I did, like, this was nothing. What we got, that's every day. That's just what you drive on every day. That's you go to work. You don't have a choice. So, of course, when I moved here, and I got here like end of 93, and I got here and everything closed down. It was like mystified me how everything here just closes down with just a little dusting. So, I mean, I've kind of gotten used to it after all these years. But listening to people like just on the news and all the different social media sites that I belong to and stuff, just whining about, oh, I can't go anywhere, and why don't they plow these roads more, and there has to be a solution. So I offered up, I was just like, look, they could just do like they do in the north. They put snow plows on the front of garbage trucks. You ever seen that?
Mm-hmm. Actually, I have.
And everybody's like, oh, that would never work. If the buses can't make it down the road, how would a garbage truck make it down the road? I'm like, well, first of all, a garbage truck, if you didn't know, outweighs a bus by a bunch.
Big and heavy, but a big plow.
Right. I mean, it's not like a bus that's hollow with nothing in it going down the road. Those things are heavy. So that's the big difference. People are like, oh, that would never work. So I sent a picture. I'm like, hello, New York City, Chicago, sort of showing pictures of garbage trucks that have plows on the front of them. And everybody's like, oh, that should never work. What do you mean it would never work? They're doing it other places. It works. And then I got into you know me, I love to open up cans of worms just to see where the conversations go. So I did. I opened the can of worm even more. And they were like, well, it would cost the city. The liability for the city would be overwhelming to have plows doing side streets. Okay. They do side streets in other parts of the country. Wouldn't you think the liability would be the same for them as it would be for us? I mean,
it's not the liability. It's the lack of equipment.
Okay. I can fix that problem for you, too. That was the next thing. See, I went all stages of this. I love to poke the bear. I just do, because the more I poke the bear, the more it brings up even more people's opinions. So I poke the bear all the time. So just in case you know, if you ever wonder why I'm constantly poking you, I'm not poking you because I'm a jack. I'm poking you because it entices conversation. It gets people's point of views out there. The more you poke, people that normally would be quiet and wouldn't say anything, if I poke, and the more I poke, the more I get people's opinion. And I love it because I'm good at it. So I've been good at it since I was a kid. I love to poke the bear.
Instigated.
Yes. I definitely can instigate. I do it all in good fun, but I instigate. So one of the things about it was that they were like, well, what about employees and equipment and stuff like you just mentioned? Well, one of the things about it is you already have the employees. You already have the equipment. You may not own the plow portion, but how many but city vehicles are out there that are big enough for a plow to be put on the front of? Tons. So if you just buy the plow equipment, you cross-train the employees who can't normally do work when there's snow, and they're like, oh, there isn't any. Yes, there is. There's a lot of jobs that are affected by the snow that cannot be conducted because it snowed. So now you have employees who truly have nothing to do, really. I mean, look, you can find busy work. But if you cross-train those employees, you put plows on the front of city vehicles that don't have plows on them. Now you have the equipment and you have the staff. No?
Sounds plausible to me.
I'm not saying it's a perfect marriage and everything works. I mean, but if you put the idea and you put the concept forward, I mean, everything works. I mean, they said we couldn't put people on the moon.
Well, I never understood if VDOT is already out doing it, why not assign them when they're through, send them to the residential neighborhoods?
Oh, well, because there's cars that park on the side of the road, so that'll never. I heard every excuse in the book. There's cars that park out on the road that they can never bring a plow down the street. There's cars.
They can plow part of it.
It will block the cars, and then people will never be able to get their cars out to block the park on the street.
Don't park on the street.
Bingo. The problem solved. Oh, well,
Norfolk did that. Don't you recall? They were warning people not to park on the street downtown. You could park free in the garages.
Yep.
Don't park on the street so they could plow it.
Look, I heard every excuse there was. Well, there's not adequate parking at my apartment complex, so we have to park on the street instead of parking in the apartment complex. Well, that's your apartment complex problem. As far as I'm concerned, if you build an apartment complex and it has a parking lot that will not host all the cars that live there, that's their problem. There should be no street parking available. That's my personal opinion.
Well, you can make all the excuses. The bottom line is you're going to have to deal with it if you can't get rid of it.
Right. Exactly. They're like, oh, well, and here's the other dumb excuse I heard. If we plow every single street, what are we going to do with all that abundance of extra snow?
Dump it over at Harbor Park. That's where they've been doing it.
They're like, oh, well, Harbor Park's already full. I'm like, okay.
They're not going to be able to fill Harbor Park with snow.
I've heard some of the worst excuses ever. I kid you not. It's been crazy. And then it went into the whole buses and safety. Look, if the city determines that it's not safe to drive a bus on the city roads, so be it. Why? I kid you not. If I hear one more parent say, I can't wait for these kids to go back home. I've had enough. You're a parent. That's your job. There is no enough. I'm sorry. There just isn't.
Well, you know what my approach to it is?
What's that?
Sooner or later, it's going to melt.
It is. Right. It's going to go away. But, listen, I understand. People are all into things. They're like, well, if it affects me, I can't go to work because I have children at home and now I got to call out from work and stuff like that. Hello. Welcome to being a parent with real parent problems. I mean, I'm not trying to, I'm a parent. I remember this used to happen to me all the time. My kids will tell you, I had to figure things out too. No different, but I figured it out. I mean, just the complaining is overwhelming about buses and roads and cars and impassable and stuff like that. But I actually have a really good one for you. So this story, I told you that we went and we shoveled somebody's car out for them that was stuck.
I remember that. Okay. Yeah.
Well, there's a backstory to that. So, and we never really got into it, but I'm going to tell you how that went. So, this lady had a rental car. That's what the rental car place kept on bothering. They wanted the car back. This is during the storm. Okay, got to have the car back. And she's like, it snowed in. Like my car is snowed in. Have you not been outside? You haven't seen the roads? And she lives in they're either apartments or condos. I'm not really sure what they are over there, but I'm assuming they're one or the other. But it's a closed-in neighborhood like an apartment complex neighborhood. And they had not plowed their parking lot really. So even if you unshovel the car, it's still going to take some skill to get the car out of the complex because there was just ice and snow everywhere, which turned out even though we unshoveled her car, that still was not easy to get out of her complex. So she's calling him and she's like, look, I can't get the car to you because of the roads and, I can't even get it out of my complex. I mean, these are real. And they just kind of kept on giving her a hard time. Okay. So she sent me the information of where she rented it from, and I went ahead and contacted the rent-a-car company, and I got as much BS as she got. And I'm like, look, we had one of the listeners contact us on, here's what's going on. Here's the information so you can look it up. I kid you not, I got passed around like I finally got somebody again today, but there's a manager who's the owner. Okay. There is no manager and an owner, apparently. Apparently the manager is the owner, which he's never available or just chooses not to be available. But they insisted having the car back. Now, here's where they messed up. They insisted having a car back, and they weren't even open to take the car. But they charged her the extra money for the extra days. So Even though she's like, look, we're in the middle of a storm. I can't get the car to you. You have an emergency number, so if the car's stranded or whatever, they can come get it. They wouldn't even come out and come get the car. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But yet they still were trying to charge her for the extra days.
Double standard.
It is. And here's the thing. Even if she would have got the car to them, they're not open. And by the way, I went and verified that they weren't open while the story was going on. So I actually drove over there just to make sure that we covered our bases. You weren't open. So why did you charge the people extra money? You weren't there to take the car. Oh, they could have dropped it off, and then we would have worked out something with the keys, and there was all the different excuses. So she even tried to contact their corporate office and got the runaround from the corporate office. So here's the thing, people: when you rent a car, know what you're getting into. I know there's a lot of large name companies that are out there that people do business with.
Buy snow insurance.
I don't think there is one.
No.
Maybe that's something that needs to be.
There's not, but I mean, I can't imagine that they've got regular liability insurance and collision insurance. Why not have insurance for inclement weather?
I'm going to tell you a story. So this is years ago, you could actually have, you could buy insurance for the rental car, which pretty much got you out of everything. I mean, you could blow the car up and you'd be covered. And if you guys haven't seen the videos, this is a real thing. There is a team of jokesters and that people all know that were going and renting these rental cars and would destroy them and bring them back on like wreckers, completely destroyed, and drop them off. And they couldn't be touched because they had the car insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
And they did this over and over again. You guys remember the movie called Jackass? Do you remember that movie?
Yep,
Okay.
Yep.
Well, before they were called that, they were actually CKY boys. That's what they were called. They were just a bunch of skaters. They did skate videos, and you could buy the videos in any skate shop before they got popular. And they were renting rent-a-cars and destroying them by buying the, $6 a day car insurance. And they set a car on fire. And videotaped it. And they were not held responsible because they had car insurance.
Man, I would think they'd see a pattern there sooner or later.
When I was younger, I rented a rent-a-car, and I had a rent-a-car that got pretty well worked over during a bachelor party getaway when I was a young man. That was brand new, and I wouldn't have wanted to own that car when it came back. And we never got a telephone call. Now, I'll tell you another story.
You had the insurance, eh?
Yeah, I had the insurance. So I don't think I've ever told the story on here. So I was on a plane on 9/11 early in the morning when everything went down.
Scary time to be on a plane.
Scary time to be on a plane. So it's one of my scary stories of you just think like you just missed something, but maybe not as, you never know. But I was going out of California coming back here. So I was on a long flight, that would have made sense. But so we landed, I think I landed at like 5:45 in the morning. I went and got a shower. And by the time I got home, got showered and got out, everything was going on.
Yeah.
So, which was pretty crazy. We had rented this rent-a-car. This is the rent-a-car in question that I'm telling you about. And they started immediately calling the telephone, demanding the rent-a-car back. Why? Because chaos was going on in the world, and they were out of rent-a-cars, and they wanted their cars back. So, and I was already home, and my buddy still had the rent-a-car to turn in California. So him and I were talking back and forth about it, and I was like, don't turn the car in. You'll be stranded. You'll be stuck. You'll have no transportation. I guarantee for weeks. This is going to go on for weeks. He took my suggestion. He was actually going to drive that car back here to Virginia from California because remember there was no air travel.
Sure.
And we were military at the time, so he had to get back for the military. And I was like, the best thing you can do is just drive it. Keep it. We'll deal with the repercussions later. Keep that car. They called him like 10 times a day and kept on ringing my cell phone. They wanted their car back. We want our car back. We want our car back. And I was like, don't let it go. Then they kept on telling, well, bring it in and we'll just reissue it back to you. And I was like, no.
That sounds stupid.
I was like, not if they're blowing your phone up as much as they are, you're never getting that rent-a-car back. I said, as soon as you show up with it, that's it. You're going to lose that rent-a-car. Do not let that rent-a-car go. And as everybody knows how that played out, everybody ended up getting stranded and stuff. But yeah, it just goes to show you, when you deal with rent-a-car companies, know what you're getting into. That's the moral of the story. Make sure you have insurance. Make sure you know what happens during storms. Make sure, because here's the thing. Once they got your credit card number, you're stuck, unfortunately. True. They can bill you for whatever, and then you're going to have to hash that out, and it's not going to go very easy for you. As much as you may believe it's going to, it's not as easy as it is. So whether you're dealing with Hertz or Avis or Enterprise or whatever, which one they are, make sure you ask questions. Make sure you read all that paperwork they give you. I know it's hard, but try to read through it and skim through it and just know what you're entitled to, because a lot of times you're signing things and you have no idea to what you're agreeing to. Just like there's that new thing, I don't know if I was talking to you about it, where you complain about a company. If you complain about a company, there's stuff now written in small print that if you complain, like you give them a bad review online, they can charge you $350 for that bad review.
There's a penalty.
Yeah. You don't even realize that in small print, if you complain about our company online and give us a bad review, we'll charge you $350.
Sounds like a violation of freedom of speech, does it not?
Yeah, but as soon as you sign that, you've made an agreement, and you didn't realize that was even in the contract. So just keep that in mind so you guys know. What we're going to do is we take a quick commercial break. When we come back, roadside attractions. Who knew? Talk to you soon.
You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio with Dave Palach here on Freedom 1110 WKQA. Your vehicle has let you down and you need to get it moved pronto. Who do you call? Quality Towing and Recovery in Portsmouth. Whether it's a breakdown or auto accident, Quality Towing and Recovery will be there quickly to solve your problem and with courteous service and reasonable rates. When you're stuck, don't worry about it. Call Quality Towing and Recovery in Portsmouth, 237-5050. That's Quality Towing and Recovery, 237-5050.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first-class tickets.
800-296-1432. 800-296-1432. 800-296-1432. That's 800-296-1432.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Cars Radio, your automotive specialist. Call into the program now at 757-222-3705. Now, here is Dave Palach.
Welcome back, America. You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio on WKQA Freedom 1110. I'm your host, Dave Palach, hanging out with Rock and Larry Cobb, and Cameron's doing all of our technical work for us. So if you didn't catch us in the first part of the show, we were talking about all the different things with rent-a-cars and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to recap. Just when you sign for a rent-a-car, make sure that you read all the paperwork. It's funny how that will get you every time. And one of the things that also on that is, you know how they offer you the insurance? Some people, if you have your car insurance, it already is covered by your own car insurance if you have a certain policies.
So I always declined it. I figured I'm already paying insurance.
Yeah. Well, it's just how, I guess, depends on how reckless you're going to be with a car. I walk around the car. Like last time I took a car, she's like, well, let's do the walk around. So she walks around. She's like, well, everything looks okay. I'm like, what about this like 4-foot scratch down the fender? I mean, clear as day.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, well, I didn't see that. I said, I guarantee you'll see it when I brought it back.
That's for sure.
When I brought it back, I guarantee the guy that checks the car back in notices that.
Write it down. I'd be taking my cell phone and taking pictures.
Oh, that's
of
what I
it.
do now. I take my cell phone and I walk around with it on live, with a recording feed. I just walk around the car so you see everything.
Yep.
And I talk out loud, scratch here, scratch there, as I'm walking around the car, because I've had that actually happen. I've taken a car out that's had some scratches and stuff. When I bring it back, they're like, well, what's with this scratch here? I'm like, that was there when I got it. Oh, that's what everybody says, sir. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know how that goes. So roadside attractions. I got a letter from a listener, and they're like, what happened to the good old days where people just packed up in cars and went on road trips and went to go see all the roadside attractions? And that's a good question. So here we are sitting in, the colder weather, wherever you guys are at. You may be in cold. It may not be. I mean, considering the fact the warmest place was Alaska last week. So
46.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So I'm sure it may be cold where you're at. Maybe Florida's starting to warm back up again, but whatever it is. Here's the thing. Start thinking and start planning trips now. Maybe one of the trips you guys want to do for coming up for spring break or maybe for the summer or something like that is take a road trip. There's so many roadside attractions. The person who sent me the letter gave me a couple, and then I went and looked up. They're like, remember this, remember that? And I do remember that because, as I've talked before, we were that family that packed in the car and we went on road trips. So, the biggest ball of yarn or the biggest coffee in the mug and all that kind of stuff, that stuff really does exist. I mean, I don't know. Did you ever see any of those when you were a kid? Did you ever work any attractions?
Yeah, sure did.
I mean, there's so many. You have the Cadillac Ranch, okay, in Texas. You ever seen that? Mm-mm. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, never heard of it.
They buried Cadillacs like Stonehenge in the ground with the back end sticking up out of the ground, and they're all the way down like Stonehenge.
Oh. Is this still there?
Yeah, it's still there. It's called Cadillac Ranch.
Yeah, never heard of that.
Yep, it's a pretty cool place. Did you know that Ocean Breeze, right here in Virginia Beach, it shows up on one of the American roadside attractions?
No, I did not.
Because the big gorilla was out front.
Well, I forgot it. Humongous.
Yeah. Yep. He shows up. When you actually type it in, it's like 80 best roadside attractions. He actually pops up as one of them. I didn't know that. When I started looking it up, in Palm Springs, California, they have the dino statues. They're a bunch of dinosaurs. I think they showed, I don't know if that's the same place, but it may be. Do you remember Pee Wee Herman's Great Adventure? Mm-hmm. And he stopped at the, was it Darlo? Whoever he was talking with, he had the big, huge, scene in front of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They have, the big, huge dinosaurs like that. Huge, life-size dinosaurs on the side of the road. Of course, in Los Angeles, they have the world's largest guitar that's out there. It's in front of the Hard Rock Cafe. Another one there's large boots in San Antonio. I've seen those. They're big, huge, giant. They got to be about 10 stories tall. I don't know. They're huge boots, just a set of boots. So it may seem silly to you, but I believe that if you pack your kids in the car and you go on a road trip and you take them to some of these crazy roadside attractions, it may seem silly, but this is stuff that they'll talk about when you get old. And they're like, remember when we went on that road trip with Dad and Mom and we went and saw these crazy roadside attractions?
Plus, it's fun.
It is. You may be driving to go to the middle of nowhere for no reason, because some of these places are, like the biggest ball of yarn, stuff like that. Some of that stuff is in the middle of the place. Like you have Paul Bunyan. I looked at it because I remember that when I was a kid. It's in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And it's the Paul, you know who Paul Bunyan is.
Yeah, the big statue.
The blue ox. It's got the blue ox and Paul Bunyan standing side by side.
It was in Fargo.
Yeah,
in the movie.
So they have that. The world's largest lava lamp is actually pretty cool. It's in Soap Lake, Washington. It's a big, huge lava lamp.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I mean, they have just all these different stuff. Randy's Donuts. That's appeared in a bunch of movies. People are standing in front of it. It's a big, huge donut on the roof. It says Randy's Donuts. It's in, I think that's one's in California, if I remember correctly. I know I've been there, and I believe it was California. So just look, if you want to start thinking of things, get out of the box. You guys hear me say every week I end the show the same way. Turn off your TV, spend some time with your kids. They'll appreciate it. Take them to a car show. Well, take them on a road trip. Go find some weird roadside attractions and just pack them in the car and take them. Now's the time to start planning. It's cold. You got nothing better to do but search on the computer and look for ideas.
I used to travel looking for museums.
Museums? Mm-hmm. Like anything related to music? Just any random museums?
Just any kind of thing that would be generally interesting. Like I went to the Tobacco Museum in Durham.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You know, and a lot of times these museums are free.
I like road trips.
But a lot of times they're free, and there's a lot to learn.
I like to get in the car and just drive to random places. My mom likes lighthouses. She likes to get in the car and drive to go find lighthouses.
Well, you're in a good place for that.
You are now on this side. I mean, and they're not as plentiful as you think they are. Mm-hmm. Not like they used to be, but if you still do some searching, they're still out there. Some of them aren't open to the public, like you can only see them from afar, but it's still kind of cool.
Have you taken her to Hatteras?
No, I haven't taken her to Hatteras.
She'll like that.
Yeah, when the weather starts to get there. See, now you obligated me because you know she's listening, so now you know I'm obligated. So anyway, I thought I'd put it out there. I thought it was kind of a cool letter to get from one of the listeners and stuff. And like I said, it was just a neat idea. And I started thinking about it. I was like, yeah, you know what? Got nothing better to do. It's cold outside. Start planning a road trip now. Take your kids.
There you go.
There you go. Hey, so as everybody knows, this was CES, the end of CES week. If you don't know what that is, that's Consumer Electronics Show, which you guys heard me talk about is actually changed from basically being an electronics show to basically being a car show, because all the newest electronics basically are focused around cars and autonomous vehicles, self-driving vehicles that drive themselves, vehicles without people sitting in them. We got them all?
You forgot automated.
Automated vehicles. There you go. Okay. Autonomous, anonymous.
Synonymous.
Synonymous. It's all. So it's funny that we were talking a couple weeks ago, and you heard me say that every time we turn around, tomorrow is the next day, because you can't change that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And every time somebody gives us a wall of autonomous vehicles, self-driving vehicles, they won't ever work because of this. And then the very next day, somebody creates the technology to break down that wall. And you've heard me say that. It's just the way it works. Mm-hmm. With CES, looks like everybody just kind of held on to everything and decided to release it all. So all these different, it will never work for this reason. You'll never be able to have cars drive themselves on the road because this has to change. And you'll have to change this and the infrastructure of the roads and the lack of road signs and potholes. And look, the technology that was released this last week is incredible. And whether you believe it or not, as much as it'll hurt Curtis Price's feelings, cars are coming that drive themselves. There's nothing you can do about it. They are coming. Basically, so you have the Cruise AV, which is by Chevy, petitioned the Highway Safety Board this week to give them permission to actually start putting these cars out on the road. They're looking as soon as 2019, which would be the next year, okay, to have these cars out on the road that are considered level 4 and up self-driving vehicles. Now, everybody goes, well, what exactly is level 4 going to consist of? Well, nobody can really say, other than the fact that the car will have the capability of driving itself. Within that petition is also the fact that the car is capable of being sold without a gas pedal and without a steering wheel. So that shows you where we're going. If you're making petitions to start driving those cars on the road, these cars are coming. And there's a lot in the news this week that has to do with that. You guys are going to get an earful of all the different stuff that came out of CES in the news. So just be prepared because it was a huge media release, obviously, of all the different stuff that came out this week. I tried to cover it. I tried to condense it as much as I could, but there's a lot of different things that go into that. With self-driving cars, the technology is running rampant. People want to be the first. And I'm telling you, this isn't going away. And every time somebody turns to me, I've had so many conversations through blogs, through all the different sites I belong to, the numerous conversations I get into with people around the world on this on weekly that we bring you guys to the show. Everybody always has the positive side, and people have that this is the reason why this will never work. And every time they say this is the reason it will never work, I kid you not, within like a week or so, sometimes the very next day, somebody comes out with that technology to squash that guy's complaint of how it won't work. It's insane the way it's working.
If you go back and read history, at the very first introduction of the horseless carriage, they didn't know what to call it. I guess they called it that. The same naysaying was going on.
Oh, yeah. It will never take off.
Never work. It's not going to work. It won't be mainstream.
To basically spit in your eye even further, I guess the best way to put it is, the people who say that drone technology and flying people around isn't going to work, that was huge at CES. That was very, very big topic there this last week. And I got news for you. They're not far from that either. They're not. They're talking by 2021 to start flying people around in drones. Now, these drones will be accompanied by a pilot at first, but it's air taxi. That's what they want to do. They want to do air taxi. And everybody's like, oh, that's never going to work. Well, guess what? Some of these companies like Lyft and all that are already looking into it. They've already started to secure rooftop space and parking lot space to land these things in, okay? So instead of having a parking lot where you park cars, it's a parking lot where a big, huge 3 to 4 passenger drone will just land and you jump out of it and you go to your location. These things can come and land in your driveway. They can just come land in your driveway, pick you up, and take you where you want to go. That's how accurate and how safe these things are getting. And just because you don't deal with it on a daily basis and you're not seeing it on a daily basis, don't think this technology isn't coming. We follow this stuff tooth and nail on this show, all the different technology and all the different car stuff that's coming out. And I'm telling you, the technology is way beyond anything that you could ever imagine at this point in time. This latest one that they just introduced is it's crazy. They've pretty much all the bugs that you can think of, they have found a way to get around them. And they are pushing forward to have this thing be just a normal part of life now.
Well, once these things hit the market, they'll explode, just like the internet did. Recall?
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, that was never going to work either.
Yeah,
and anybody who bought into Apple is happy as a clam.
Yep.
Maybe not the ones that bought into IBM, but, you know.
IBM didn't get hurt.
No, but here's the thing. A lot of people didn't believe in it. They didn't buy into the stock, and those that did are still dancing to this day. So we're going to dance ourselves right into commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the recalls that are actually out there. You won't believe it. We'll talk to you soon.
You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio with Dave Palach here on Freedom 1110 WKQA. Your vehicle has let you down and you need to get it moved pronto. Who do you call?
Quality Towing and Recovery in Portsmouth. Whether it's a breakdown or auto accident, Quality Towing and Recovery will be there quickly to solve your problem and with courteous service and reasonable rates. When you're stuck, don't worry about it. Call Quality Towing and Recovery in Portsmouth, 237-5050. That's Quality Towing and Recovery, 237-5050.
When did your light bulb go off? We're talking about that idea you have for a new product or app. Listen, if you want to make your idea a priority, but you don't know how to get it off the ground, you call Davison, the one company with over 25 years experience and exclusive process that turns ideas into products and apps that are found in retail stores and online. Our team has helped tens of thousands of people, just like you. Call now and ask for our free Idea Starter Guide. We'll show you how to securely get started and protect your idea. Whether you have a patent or not, our process will get your idea ready to get in front of a corporation. Don't let your light bulb of an idea go out. Call Davison now for your free Idea Starter Guide. Davison charges fees for services. 800-213-6960. 800-213-6960. 800-213-6960. Again, that's 800-213-6960.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Cars Radio, your automotive specialist. Call into the program now at 757-222-3705. Now, here is Dave Palach.
Welcome back, America. You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio on WKQA Freedom 1110. If you can't hear, I got a little scratch in my voice. I've actually been fighting off, I think, what's going to be a cold. I don't know. But the show must press on.
Take your vitamin C.
Vitamin C. So, we were talking before we went to commercial break about how the autonomous vehicles, self-driving vehicles, vehicles without drivers are taking over the world. And do me a favor, if you guys want to really check this out and see what happened at CES, if you got a paper and pen, and I'll give you a second to grab one. 1, 2, 3. So, there you go. There was their seconds. Write down Bell Helicopter and go look it out. Bell Helicopter is one of the ones who presented at the CES show with this new, encapsulated drone that's going to carry passengers. And it is insane. I mean, it's, like I said, if you didn't believe this stuff was coming, it's very, very crazy out there. As far as the recalls, so before we commercial break, we'll talk about recalls. So, the 06 Ford Ranger, if you have one, you need to basically what Ford is saying, stop driving it immediately.
Why?
Now, here's the crazy. I told you. Either we get lucky or we need to buy lottery tickets. I'm not really sure which one it is. Because I'll report on things and I'll say, this is going to happen or that can happen. And then it happens. What did I tell you was going to happen with Takata airbags?
Yeah, well, you were talking about that over a year ago.
I was. So, Ford Ranger, affected by Takata airbags. Here's the thing that irritates me the most, people. You know as a manufacturer that you used them. Why didn't you speak up?
Yeah.
Well, this is all going on. You know that you used that product. Now, you can't say whether it's defective or not. Maybe I understand that. But as a manufacturer, you know that you've used that product. Okay? And I got a little bit of a conversation about it right before we actually came out here in the radio show. Manufacturers share parts. Everybody's like, well, what makes the cars different then? I mean, that means every car is pretty much the same if they share parts. No, the engineering as far as the motors and all that kind of go, that's where the engineering comes in. That's what makes a car different from one another. Truly with the clearances and the development put into motors and the way they run. But there's a lot of components in a car that are shared, okay? Like airbags and electrical systems. Those are all made by one company and they ship them out to every single manufacturer. So you as a car manufacturer, you know if you're using parts from that company that's been giving bad parts to other car companies. So why not come clean right up front? Just, hey, we may use some of those parts. We need to look into this and let's be open about it to the public right from the get-go.
Sounds like they're taking a wait and see.
I hate the fact that could be the case. So anyway, if you have an 06 Ford Ranger that was made from August 10th, 05 until December 12th, 05, you need to get it in and let them take a look at it. They will come pick the car up from you. They're suggesting not to drive it at all. That they will actually come out and pick the car from you. They'll actually give you a loaner vehicle as well. So it may have a defective airbag in it, just like the Hondas and everything else did.
Well, that's good to hear. They're going to go to that length.
Yep. So if you have one, don't be one of those people that say, oh, well, I'll get to it when I get to it. Let's not get to it when I get to it. It's already killed 2 people. So, yeah. And that's in the Ford section of things. That's not all the rest of the ones that are involved.
Yeah, I wonder how many total have been killed.
Yeah, it's crazy. Got a reader letter for you. Dear Dave, did you see the new Dodge Ram truck? What do you think of your Chevy now? Jacob from Chesapeake. I love those letters. Jacob, I still love my Chevy, and it can tow your Dodge any day of the week that you need it to. If you're in a hole, you break down, you get some Dodge on your hands, I'll come tow you. With that being said, I have forever said that I believe Dodge has some of the sexiest body lines on trucks that there is. Their trucks are just a gorgeous looking truck. But as far as I'm concerned, that's where it stops for me. Okay? I recognize the fact that it's a gorgeous truck, but I also know people that own Dodges and all they do is work on them. So that's the reason why I don't own one. And I'm not saying, technology does change maybe, but you're just never convinced me. There's Dodge guys, there's Ford guys, there's Chevy guys. Folks, you're never going to change it. I'm a Chevy guy through and through. That's never going to change. I've owned some other ones. I've drove them. I know what to expect from them. I know what they've done and haven't done for me. So I'm a Chevy guy. That's not going to change. So as far Jacob, yes, I will 100% say that the body lines on a Dodge are some of the sexiest trucks that are out there. I truly believe that. They have a very nice design. Even the new design, I'm with you. I think it's very cool. The one thing I don't understand is they took the approach of everybody went into headlights and taillights this year. Everybody started changing headlights and changing taillights and doing crazy stuff with them. Dodge just decided to keep it simple. Headlights and taillights, didn't really mess with them. Just kept it simple and basic.
Still using a sealed beam?
I'm sure. I can't really tell from the picture, the media picture that was sent over in the release and stuff like that, but it's just they went simple. They didn't do all the crazy. I mean, there's trucks out there that have like 17 little individual lights that come on and then a center light that comes on and all kinds of crazy stuff. I never got into that stuff. I think that stuff looks dorky. Truck's a truck, man. I mean, it's just the way it is. I'm going to use my truck as a truck. So I went a lot of places here in the snow and the ice that nobody else did. So I was lucky to have mine.
That's what it pays off.
But even Cameron will tell you, we saw a whole lot of Fords and Dodges stuck in the ditches while we just motored on by in our Chevy. So, all right. So, speaking of Ford, we talked about this, it's got to be about 6 months ago. Ford wants to talk to everything. They're one of those companies that want to talk to everything. You remember when we talked about cars talking to houses, houses talking to cars, cars talking to buildings, that technology? Well, Ford's been behind the scenes working on that technology. They want their vehicles to talk to everything. So once again, we talked about it before, why the big push for connective homes and smart homes is because the smart home can talk to the car can talk to the house, that car can go take information as it drives through the city, pull information, find your likes, your wants, your needs, where you most likely go, the places you attend, all that kind of stuff, and it stores that information and it shares it with everything. Well, now Ford is taking it a step forward. They want the car to talk to stoplights to talk to cars, street signs. They want it to talk to the people's cell phones that are walking around your car. You understand where this all goes?
Yep.
Everything becomes connected. And they say it makes a smarter vehicle and it makes a smarter city if everything does that. I'm skeptical because I don't want anybody to know anything. I don't want my cell phone talking to somebody if I'm not talking on it. Make sense?
Yeah.
The only person that should be talking to my cell phone is me. Not my cell phone talking to other cell phones or talking to cars that are driving by. But that's where we're going. Like I said, it's a technology week, people. Hang tight with me because this isn't the end of the craziness. I think that this technology is either going to be a really good thing or a really horrible thing. And I'm weighing towards the horrible. And I'm the technology guy. I like technology. Larry will tell you I love the technology stuff. But the more that things get released, the scarier it's getting. I mean, it just absolutely is getting scarier as we go on. So, I don't know. Hold tight. The more information I get, the more stuff that I'll tell you about. And I'll tell you about technology. Did you see the report on Uber this week?
No.
Remember how Uber got caught with blackballing the police with their little app?
I remember that story.
Yeah, okay. The gray ball.
Yeah.
So the police couldn't track. Well, apparently that wasn't the only secret software they had in their program. They have another secret software program called Ripley, which basically is a remote system that anytime the police could show up at one of their offices to do an investigation from another location, they can crash the computer so they can't get anything out of the computer at whatever location they're at.
Believe it or not.
Yeah. Well, I think it's supposed to be, it's actually referencing.
It's an acronym, Ripley is?
No, it's not. It was something to do with aliens. Wasn't that the lady's name in the movie Alien or whatever it is? So
Don't know.
yeah, I think that's what it's referencing. I saw a little tag here next to the media release, so I don't know what that has to do with one or the other, but it is what it is. So yeah, Uber, man, I tell you what, Uber, every time we turn around, it's something else. I understand, and once again, I've said it when it comes to Tesla and all the other companies that are out there. If you're at the forefront of new technology, you are going to take the bashing of everything, and Uber is definitely taking a bashing. Because it was new, and then Lyft showed up, and then Lyft took a bashing for a little while and stuff like that. I mean, but I don't see these companies going away. In fact, I see them getting bigger.
Yeah, they're thriving.
Yeah, and especially with being able to have now cars that they can own, that they don't need to pay drivers. The car can just drive itself as that technology starts to take over. Like I said, they're looking into these flying drone technology because they want to be the first to move people that way. So all this money is being thrown around. I mean, people aren't wrong. I mean, if you're throwing millions and billions of dollars at things, that means that technology isn't going away. Yeah, that's just what it is. Yes.
What does Uber have to hide that they have to crash the computers?
Well, here's what it is. So Uber, when they first came out, I guess nobody was really worried about it. But once it started to get popular, then they want to put restrictions as far as how it gets taxed and paying for permits to run in cities and all that kind of stuff, because they tried to call it a taxi company, but is it really a taxi company or is it a sharing company? So they started putting restrictions on them as far as how they are going to basically make money off of them. That's really what it came down to, is how the government and the cities were going to get paid. So they started implementing all these different stuff. So Uber just got smart and started developing software to evade being upfront with everything that they were doing. That way they couldn't get charged for
They don't want to share everything.
Right. And they really didn't want to. That's exactly what it came down to. They didn't want to share.
Anywhere in the media release, does it let you know how they found out they had that program?
You know, I'll tell you how it is. You get one employee that gets mad and they get let go, and that's the snitch. That's just the way it works. That's the way it works every time.
Revenge.
It is. You know, somebody's always out there to get the revenge. So, anyway, moving on. I got a bunch of listeners' letters this last week that I was trying to field through them and find one. So, Dear Dave, I listened to your show for a while and hear you joke about your windshield wipers. Now I get it. This is a good wiper conversation to have now that we've just had snow. What do you think is the best wiper? Weldon, I think it's Weldon, in Portsmouth. Yes, I have an addiction. You guys heard me say it over and over again. I have an addiction to wiper blades. The reason why is because I want them to work. As far as in snow and stuff, there is more aggressive wiper blades that you can use in snow and ice, but do they truly work the way that you're going to think they're going to? No. Never going to happen. I've had that conversation. People are like, oh, I put on the snow and ice blade and it still didn't do anything. Well, if the ice is stuck to your windshield, no rubber wiper is going to remove that. It doesn't matter. It's going to pop over the top of it and slide on the top. If you thought you were going to turn on your wipers and it was going to whisk away all the ice that's stuck to your windshield and snow, never going to happen. I use a higher-end blade. We talked about it. I change them like every 3 months, sometimes quicker. If I start to get a streak, it gets a wiper blade because it just drives me nuts. I like to look through a windshield that has streaks in it. And even the high-end blades I have can't move all the ice and snow. Now, they will give you a nice clean windshield once you get stuff moved away, and it will wipe a lot of the ook and stuff away from off the window really good. But, yeah, having a good windshield wiper on your vehicle during rain, snow, or anything like that is the best time to have it. I mean, you don't think about it. And it's one of those things. You get in, you start your car, it takes you where you want to go. You don't think anything about it until it breaks down. Windshield wiper, you get in, you start the car, you don't think anything of windshield wiper until you go to use it and it's not doing its job. So.
You know what I used to think about? You remember, they got in your rear window those little lines that you can turn the button on and
the
heat
defroster
it.
line. Yeah.
Right. Why not put that in the windshield?
Well, they do have heated windshields. They don't have the lines through them because obviously that would be weird. But they have some of them. You'll see the grids at the top of the windshield along the top, and it heats the windshield up.
Won't they keep the ice off?
Well, not really. I mean, because what happens when it's so cold? As soon as you defrost, ice, it turns to water. It refreezes instantly anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would think it would help.
The defrost in your car is what's actually supposed to help heat up the windshield too. That's the reason why for state inspection, your defrost has to work. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are like, well, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Well, it keeps the windshield from fogging up and stuff. That's the reason why the defrost in the car has to work.
Maintain visibility.
Correct. I've had that argument many times. People just, I don't understand why this has to work. Oh, well, because you have to see where you're going. That's the main reason. So, yeah. I mean, keep a good windshield wiper on the. As far as what I think the best brand is, I've told you guys I really like the Bosch blade. I mean, that's one of my favorite ones that I use. It holds up very well. It's a little bit more expensive. I think it's $33 a blade or something like that, but it works.
Every 3 months?
Yeah. Whew. I told you, I have an addiction to making sure my windshield stays clean.
And you're willing to feed it.
I am. I am, because I have some quirks, and that's one of them. I do not like looking through a dirty windshield. I could not stand it. Like, I ran out of windshield washer fluid the other day. So I went to go hit it, and I went right to the store and got some.
Yeah, you were empty?
I was empty, and I was beating the ice off trying to get the hood up, because I knew I was not going to be able to drive for the rest of the day without windshield washer.
I'm like that too. I've got it. I bought some right before the store.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was empty until I went to go hit it. My fault. And yeah, you guys can send me all the jokes because I'm all the one telling you to check everything all the time. But to be fair, my car was in for an oil change, and it should have had it filled up while it was there.
So it topped it off.
It didn't get done, apparently. So we'll have that talk a whole nother time when I go back.
Yep, been there and done that one too.
Yeah. You know what? We've been there, done that. We've been there, done that on commercial breaks, and it's time for another one. So stick with us, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some more Reader's Letter and Hyperloops back in the news. Talk to you soon.
You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio with Dave Palach here on Freedom 1110 WKQA. Your vehicle has let you down and you need to get it moved pronto. Who do you call? Quality Towing and Recovery in Portsmouth. Whether it's a breakdown or auto accident, Quality Towing and Recovery will be there quickly to solve your problem and with courteous service and reasonable rates. When you're stuck, don't worry about it. Call Quality Towing and Recovery in Portsmouth, 237-5050. That's Quality Towing and Recovery, 237-5050.
You became a nurse for a lot of reasons. You care about people and you love taking care of them. Being a nurse is who you are. But today, many medical facilities require nursing candidates to have bachelor's degrees. So you're probably going to want to have that degree. But you work. You may have a family. How can you possibly fit getting your bachelor's degree in your already tight schedule? With the online RN to BSN Bridge program at Independence University, our online learning model helps you balance your work, your family, and your desire to move up in your nursing career. Class sizes are small and personal, and we're 100% focused on helping you through the program so you can earn your degree. An IU's online RN to BSN program is accredited by the Commission on Collegiate Nursing Education. Our goal is to help you achieve your goals. Independence University's online RN to BSN program. Call now.
800-797-1256. 800-797-1256. 800-797-1256. That's 800-797-1256.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Cars Radio, your automotive specialist. Call into the program now at 757-222-3705. Now, here is Dave Palach.
Welcome back, America. You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio on WKQA Freedom 1110, and I have developed a little froggy in my voice over the commercial break. It happens.
It'll get better.
It will. So, Hyperloop. Been a little while since we talked about some Hyperloop. Remember?
Mm-hmm. We talked about it last week, didn't we?
Yeah, it's slowly and slowly it's popping up.
That's because there's something new and different every week.
There is. So here is the sure case of putting the cart before the horse. So everybody knows Hyperloop isn't really going anywhere other than in kind of a circle right this second with the test track. That's it. Hyperloop, I believe, is coming. I don't think they're going to ever stop that train either. Get it trained. But it's still out in the development stages. Well, this week, Hyperloop was in the news because there's a mapping system app already out for Hyperloop, and there isn't even a Hyperloop yet. But it's funny because the map shows basically what it is. The app is you can click on the app, and the app eventually will be able to book a ticket for the train. And if you need transportation from the train to your destination, you can book it all in one. So you can do the train ticket, a car service to pick you, autonomous vehicle to come pick you up from the station and take you to wherever, all in one app. So they've already developed the app. It's already out there and up and running. And when you accessed it, what does it show you? The very first train destination between Vegas and LA.
That's where all the testing's going on, is it not?
The test is out in Vegas, so that's where it is. But it's funny that the very first, it shows you basically the track that isn't there yet, and it runs between Vegas and LA. Now, here's the thing. They don't tell you what speed that they're going to be running at. Now, keep in mind, this train's supposed to run up to 700 miles an hour. Okay, so that's quick when it gets all done. But at this point in time, in the little map, it shows 30-minute ride from Vegas to LA, which is usually a 4-hour car ride or a little bit more.
That's pretty neat. 30 minutes?
Yeah. So, apparently Hyperloop is so confident this is going to continue to build up that we're starting to build maps and have apps for it.
What is that, about 400 miles?
No, it's got to be less than that. If it's a 4-hour ride, you wouldn't drive 100 miles an hour.
That would be what?
Well, maybe you would. Depends on who you are.
For me, maybe.
Maybe. What's that? Well, that probably equate to, 257? Maybe a little bit more than that. Somewhere around there.
Okay.
So I'm trying to do the math in my head real quick.
I always figure 2 hours for 100 miles.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah, give or take. So keep looking towards Hyperloop and see what's going on. As far as the air taxi that we're telling you guys about, like I said, it's a couple different places that showed up in the news. So like I said, go check out Bell Helicopter because it's in the media a couple different times. I'm actually reading over here some of the media stories and stuff, and it pops up in a different thing. So we kind of already covered it. I'm not really going to go into it. So here's one for you for Tesla, your favorite subject. So Mr. Musk is planning on building a charging diner as his next thing he's talking about. So
now that makes sense.
You can go to the diner and plug in your car, and it'll charge at the diner.
Feed you and feed your car.
Right. So that's the new little thing that came out this week as far as ideas and news and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. A little different. Ford cannot stay out of the news this week. There's another lawsuit that is actually out against Ford, which is saying that, this is going to sound familiar, Ford may have rigged their emission system for their diesels.
Uh-oh.
Yep, on their Super Duty trucks. So there's an investigation going on right this second that says that they did the same thing Volkswagen did.
See if some guys left Volkswagen and went to work for Ford.
Yeah, apparently. So I'll keep you guys in the loop. If you guys remember how Dieselgate went, that was horrible. I hope that doesn't happen to Ford because that's a lot of Super Duty trucks out there.
Yeah, that would hurt.
And if you need me to pull one of yours, to the dealership for you to have them take a look at it, you just let me know. Hey, do you remember, it had to be last year sometime, I talked to you about the company Workhorse, and they were building an electric truck. Mm-hmm. And we talked about, how Tesla had talked about building a truck but hadn't had one. Well, Workhorse has theirs. Pre-orders started this week for the electric pickup truck.
Tesla's making it?
No, Workhorse is making it.
Oh, that's the company itself.
Yep. So
Workhorse, that's a good name.
But don't you have to turn in your man card? We talked about this once before. You have to turn in your man card if you're going to drive an electric pickup truck.
I don't know. Hey, it's bound to come. It's inevitable.
You got to turn in your man card. You got to turn in your man card.
How about a self-driving truck?
If I see a truck going down the road and it's electric, I can't wait till it breaks down because I'm going to use my gas truck with the full power to be pulling you out.
Lordy, I don't know. I don't know.
What do you drive? Oh, I'm driving an electric truck.
Yeah. Speaking of Tesla is actually accused of the bait and switch. So remember how they were in a rush to get the new models out?
I heard some talk about that.
Basically a bait and switch on the interior package. It's supposed to be a certain material, and they got cloth. So people were in an uproar because they say they were presented to it as it was supposed to have this type of interior, and they got delivered with cloth interior. But then Tesla says nowhere in our description did we ever tell you what the interior would be made out of. We just said it was an interior upgrade package, but didn't say exactly what it would be made out of. So
that's one way to dodge it.
That's a slippery way to dodge it, especially because just for the fact that they need to stay out of the news. If they could stay out of the news for about 6 months, I'd be impressed.
Well, being in the news is not bad as long as the news is good.
I don't know. I'm going to move on to another read. I can tell you a bunch of read letters. Dear Dave, I took my vehicle into a shop this week for an oil change. Every time I go, they try to sell me other things. How important is it to have the fluids flushed, air cabin filter, et cetera, every single time I go there? There's no name attached to it. I'll tell you what name. But here's the thing. See, that's a sticky situation. it's good to have your fluids flushed. Do I think you need to have them flushed every time somebody tells you to? Maybe not. I mean, there is a thing called upselling. I mean, that's just what it is. It's an upsell. Cabin air filter is a great thing to have replaced in your vehicle. But if every time you go, someone's trying to tell you need a cabin air filter, well, that right there tells you there's probably something not right there. I mean, that's just
tell them you want to. Let me see the old one first.
Right. You know, if every time you go to a repair shop and they're telling you, oh, we need to put an air filter in this, there's something probably wrong there. I mean, common sense kicks in a little bit, guys, when it comes to this. And I know we've talked about it over and over again. Find an auto garage, build a relationship. There's good auto garages out there. There really is. You just need to take the time to do a little bit of research and build a relationship with that particular garage. The more you do business with them, the more they know what you expect. And that's a good thing. And they also know, you know, it's a mutual relationship. It goes hand in hand. You know what I mean? One hand washes the other when it comes to that. Knowing what the expectations are of your auto garage and them knowing what you expect is a huge thing. Once you guys build that relationship, then that's when things move on to greener pastures. But if you're one of those people that just hop into any auto garage here and there whenever you have a problem, you'll never have that comfort when you take your car to an auto garage. That's the reason why pairing up with a good place that you take your car, read some of the reviews, take it into the place, go in, meet that person, know the manager's name. All those things I tell you guys over and over again is very, very important. And auto garage owners, I've told you guys over and over again, start to learn your customer. Introduce yourself to the customer. Get to know them. Make them feel comfortable. They're going to make a decision if they want to buy from you within the first 5 minutes of meeting you. That's just the way it works. So the more that you guys work together and build relationships together, the better the customer can get everything they expect to get out of their car. It just this makes sense. It's just the way it works. So to answer the question, no. Do I think every time you take your car in for an oil change, it needs every single thing they're going to try to sell you? Absolutely not. But if you're taking your car to every single Tom, Dick, and Harry there is, of course, every time you go in, somebody's going to try to sell you something. But if you're taking your car to the same repair shop over and over again, they should already have a record of what they've done to your car and what your car needs. Now, if you're taking your car to a repair shop, in the same repair shop, and every time you go in there, they tell you need something, well, guess what? You've answered your own question. You know that may not be the repair shop for you. That's just the way it works. Fair enough. I don't know.
They keep records. That's why you want to go to the same one.
That's right. Like I said, but if you keep on taking your car to the same repair shop and every time you go there, the guy tells you need something you just replaced last time, you've answered your own question.
Yep. Look for a new one.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I got 2 more cool stories for you before we get out of here because we're getting close. Did you see the BMW creating the world's largest drift?
I heard about it, but I didn't see that.
It's pretty cool. Go check it out on the line, and they actually refuel.
Yeah, that's why.
In the middle of the drift.
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty cool video. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, drifting. When everybody has drift cars and stuff, it's a continuous car to slide without stopping. So basically, did the world's record attempt. BMW did. From what I understand, that actually did work, and they now hold the record. And they actually refueled the car while it's in the middle of a skid going around a track. That way, they never had to stop the skid. And here was the thing. So they were told they actually could stop and refuel, I guess, if they wanted to, and it wouldn't be counted against them. Somehow, I don't know how that works, but they elected to go above and beyond. They wanted no, we want to refuel while the car is sliding. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, because if it works, look at all the good publicity.
It's a cool video. You check it out. So here's the last thing before we get out of here this week to blow your mind, and I put it up on our Facebook page just to kind of entice people because this is crazy. You remember how I told you about companies getting involved into purpose-built vehicles?
Mm-hmm.
Well, CES, once again, was this week. Go check it out. Toyota is really interested in building purpose-built vehicles. And these are basically, they did a pizza application. It's a big, huge, do you remember the thing on, was it iRobot, where it turns on the freeway and it opens up and all the robots jump out of it, but it was like a 18-wheel kind of thing, and it was able to turn any direction. Do you remember that scene?
I do.
This thing looks like a miniature one of those, but it's basically a rolling restaurant. It's a Pizza Hut on wheels. So basically, you call in, you place your order, the computer tracks your location, they're in it making your pizza in it, and it's driving itself to your location. The guy just steps off the truck, goes in, and hands you your pizza. I know we always get that I love the little ding-a-ling-a-ling. So, but yeah. It's like a roll. So he decided to go ahead and give it to me again. Oh. They'll show up at your door like this rolling restaurant. Go take a look at it online. It's Toyota's purpose-built vehicle. And it just looks like a big, huge box with all these wheels on it, and it will deliver you your pizza.
Hey, well, Cameron can let us know how that works.
It is. Well, that is the end of our show. We're trying not to run a little bit long this week. Check us out next week. Go on to Facebook, click, like us, follow us, comment. We're doing all the Facebook Live, trying to keep up with the media. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your Sunday. Turn off the TV. Spend some time with your kids. Take them to the car show. The Hampton Roads Car Show is going on at the Convention Center. They'll love you for it. And we'll talk to you soon. We're out of here.